Holed up in a hotel room outside of LAX, one activist is spearheading the student loan reform movement. She's leaving the country tomorrow to start a new job overseas because she has no other way to pay her bills, including mounting student loan debt.
We want something now. And the fight is too much of a focus on prospective students, which are now the middle school age kids, and nothing is being done for a large swath of people, and it's an intergenerational problem, which I keep emphasizing, that are drowning in student loan debt, and they cannot walk away from it, unlike people who foreclose on their homes.
These days, just paying the rent, mortgage, and utility bills is difficult, let alone dealing with the added burden of exorbitant student loan bills after graduation.
As college costs have increased and more of the costs have been pushed onto the backs of students, we've seen more college graduates leaving school with serious amounts of debt. About 2/3 of students graduate with loans averaging about $19,000. But we've also seen in the last decade a 7-fold increase in the number of students borrowing above $40,000 in loan debt. 23% of public college graduates with loans have too much in debt to manageably repay at a starting teacher's salary.
The predatory lending type tactics you see in housing, you see the same predatory lending type tactics in lending. The distortions, the inducements to the loans, which is how I define predatory lending behavior. So I think there is an analogous situation of predatory lending in the student loan arena.
Thanks in part to New York Attorney General Andrew Cuomo's investigation, there has been an effort made by Congress to push back against predatory lending in the student loan industry. In 2009, the House of Representatives passed a bill that would take student loans out of the hands of private lenders and make the federal government the sole provider of student aid. This bill, however, has stalled in the Senate due to intense lobbying efforts.
Essentially, 90% of private loans are guaranteed by the U.S. government. So I always put it simply. Mary Jo, wants to go to school. Mary Jo takes out $30,000, private loan, let's say. That money is already guaranteed. The lender has already received the $30,000. So let's say Mary Jo graduates, I don't know, she has a kid, she has a decent job, but then suddenly something goes wrong. Maybe it's health, maybe she gets cancer, maybe she loses her job, who knows, maybe her kid gets sick. All of a sudden, she's trying to negotiate with her payments with her lender, and they're not going to budge because they benefit from basically high interest rates. And they will not budge. And Mary Jo is obviously a theoretical, abstract person, but I know these stories. I mean, I can say with confidence, I hear them from hundreds and hundreds of people a week now with their circumstances like that.
Johansson publishes a blog on student loan reform and actively engages politicians in the nation's capital.
I am right now trying to work more closely with people actually on the Hill. I've been in touch with Senator Sherrod Brown's office, for instance, and they are trying to propose, it's called a private student loan debt swap. It's a proposal right now only in the Senate. And the idea behind it is that the government would take on private student loans so there would be more flexibility in terms of repayment. And I'm also in touch with TICAS.org, which is otherwise known as the Institute for College Access and Success. They are the brainchild essentially behind IBR, income-based repayment, which Obama referred to several times in his State of the Union address.
And let's tell another 1 million students that when they graduate, they will be required to pay only 10% of their income on student loans. And all of their debt will be forgiven after 20 years, and forgiven after 10 years if they choose a career in public service. Because in the United States of America, no one should go broke because they chose to go to college.
So basically 14% of American workers want to be working full-time, want to be on the job every day, and there's not enough work to go around.
A tough job market, combined with what some borrowers call usurious interest rates, has spiked the number of student borrower defaults. Although the exact number isn't known, some estimate as high as 1 in 3 borrowers will default on their student loans.
You cannot escape student loan debt. And especially with the private loans, you can't discharge them in bankruptcy. Although in this country, if you have gambling debt, you can discharge your gambling debt.
Johansson ends our interview with a glimpse of the challenges ahead in student loan reform.
We don't really have anyone lobbying for us. That the Hill is dominated not only by the lenders, by the way, but the colleges and universities. They want all the money and funding and all the stuff going straight through their hands. They don't want anything going straight to students. But I've been reading Martin Luther King lately, and in thinking about sort of the politics behind that and the tremendous power of what went on during the civil rights movement. I mean, it's easy for us to see it now in hindsight. But I would say that there's something very much similar to the circumstances of people. I mean, as I always say, we're the indentured educated class. It doesn't feel good to realize that in many ways you're a modern day serf. And for what? Because you wanted to pursue higher education.
For more information on this issue, visit Johansson's blog, contact your senator, and urge them to support Senator Sherrod Brown's student debt swap proposal. And for more information on income-based repayment, visit ibrinfo.org.